Hi, this is Phil Potempa, and welcome to another edition of Notoriety. Each week, we bring you all the ticket opportunities, events, everything happening in Northwest Indiana, Chicago, and beyond, so you can mark those calendars. Everything you want to make sure you do not miss. Of course, this is the broadcast equivalent of all those feature stories and columns you'll read in print editions of the flagship Post-Tribune under the umbrella of Chicago Tribune Media, with some of those stories and columns making their way into suburban publications like the Daily Southtown and others. All, of course, as well as a main run of the Chicago Tribune. So you can find any of those stories always archived at www.chicagotribune.com. We wouldn't be here these past 9 years if it weren't for our wonderful, generous underwriters and sponsors, our friends at People's Bank, the arts advocates that are Andy and Sue Arnold, Theater at the Center, our home away from home at the Center for Visual and Performing Arts in Munster, as all of you are so familiar with. And, of course, you, our audience. Some of you are tuned in through our traditional radio dials at WJLB 1230 AM as we come to you from our original studios here in the heart of Ham and our Strachan Van Til studios. Others have the advantage if you found us through maybe social media or on our YouTube platform or streaming, and so you decided to join the conversation. So if you have that window to the world, you might be thinking, is there a production of Guys and Dolls that's coming to the area? Look at all those fedora hats and feather boas, as I'm joined by my co-host, Tony Panek.
How's it going, everybody?
And Luke Miiller.
Hello, good morning.
And I'll let our returning guest, introduce himself.
Hi, my name is Pat Pohrte. I am co-owner of Vito's Vault. We're a 1920s dinner theater speakeasy on the north side of Chicago.
And you might remember Pat from previous interviews. He is a known actor that's taken many bows and ovations on our stages here in Northwest Indiana. Let's see if we get these right. Marion Theater Guild sometimes? Yes. How about Genesius sometimes?
Yes.
All right.
Pretty much across the globe.
Exactly.
And one we're going to talk about today, too, right? Many times, yeah.
Once in a while, some of those productions even made their way into parade floats, I remember, over the years as well, you waving with some of your cast and counterparts. But today, again, we're traveling back in time to the day of speakeasies, fedora hats, these secret words to get you through to maybe have a libation of bathtub gin or the likes. I think of a similar franchise years back. It's not there anymore, but Tommy Gunn's Garage was on the very south part of the loop. Same thing. You had a secret knock at the door. You'd go inside, and they'd have a full dinner spread. But everybody would be in character, and you'd have a bar with a lot of those famous kind of cocktails, again, that were known for those 1920s and 30s, and the famous mobsters that kind of ruled the Windy City at the time. So tell us a little about Vito's Vault.
Well, Vito's Vault, like I said, we're a 1920s dinner theater speakeasy. We're run by Vito Valentino, who is the third cousin of famous silent movie star Rudolph Valentino. And the only reason that Vito kind of got his hands on a gang and some illegal hooch, as you will, is Al Capone was a huge fan of Rudy Valentino. And for those of us that know silent movie stars, unfortunately, Rudolph Valentino passed away at a very young age. So as the story goes, Vito kind of got in touch with Al Capone, and he figured, what's the best way that Al Capone could cure the Valentino's family, suffering from the passing of Rudy Valentino? And he said, you know what, we're going to give you all the bootleg hooch humanly possible. So Vito Valentino got his hands on a couple of Guys and Dolls, and we're currently running the speakeasy as it is.
Now, I don't want to throw anybody. Yes, it is anchored, as we mentioned, north side of Chicago, but a special opportunity that has a nod to Northwest Indiana this coming week, correct?
Yes, sir. Yeah, I am currently bringing all the Guys and Dolls from our dinner theater speakeasy to the Beatniks on Conkey Theater this Thursday, July 23rd. The doors will open at 6 p.m. We're doing a first hour is cocktails and mocktails, mainly on the mocktail side because, the city wants their little hand in the illegal gambit.
And I think our producer might have the same poster. Maybe she'll float it and continue to tell us all about it.
Yeah, and we'll be doing our entire Roaring 20s musical review. So ranging from tap dancing to, we've got some of the best dolls humanly possible coming right off of cruise ships and Broadway itself. And some of our gangsters that we have are coming from pretty much Broadway itself. So we have some extremely talented individuals that are just making their way to Hammond, Indiana, just for this one night only performance.
Before we go to our co-host questions, and how do you get your tickets or be a part of it then?
Yeah, your tickets would just, you can call the Beatniks on Conkey box office at 219-852-0848 or go to beatniksonconkey.com. There you'll get all the information. We'll be taking just cash at the door, which is $25, which is a heck of a deal considering you don't have to travel all the way to downtown Chicago and deal with the traffic or, the exuberant prices of, parking in its own right. So, and you get the comfort of having Broadway caliber theater right in your own backyard at a fraction of the price.
So that's a musical cabaret, kind of a special hybrid version. So cocktails, drinks, those are cash bar?
Yes, it'll be a cash bar.
Cash bar, then you get your entire entertainment. Do not expect the food aspect for this one.
Correct.
This is kind of a hybrid version of it, but a great sampling and a great price for a Thursday night out.
Luke, you want to go first?
Oh, I was going to ask, how long has the show been running on the north side for?
On the north side, we just are going to celebrate our 2.5 years. We opened 2.5 years ago. Originally, my business partner and myself, Mark Verkler, we were part of the Tommy Guns Garage Cast. So that show ran until COVID, until COVID killed it, which is unfortunate because we were the longest running show in Chicago. We ran for 35 years straight, doing 8 to 10 shows a week. So we were
every show was different.
Yeah.
Every day you'd come, much like your show, I'm sure.
Exactly. It all just depended on, which groups we brought in or what general public came in just off the streets and wanted to see what we were all about. And it was also interesting because Tommy Guns Garage was on the original site of Colosimo's restaurant. Now, for those of us who know kind of gangster history, Big Jim Colosimo ran the entire national syndicate until he got off by one of Luciano's guys. So it was cool. Our Tommy Guns Garage was right on top of that property. So we had that history going for us.
Well, Phil mentions, of course, your history here in theater in Northwest Indiana, Chicagoland. Your appearances here, of course, on Region Rush Hour, myself back in the day. You were even in this studio before that with Preacher, Big George, T-Rex. So long history here. And, kind of transpired the idea from the Tommy Gun Garage, but it's dinner theater. Of course, we were just at the tribute to Bill Polinzi, who created dinner theater, but the dinner part is also special as well. What can people expect food-wise when they come to Vito's Vault?
Well, food-wise, we have a very limited menu. We have a menu of 5 menu options, which range from our New York strip, which has been critically acclaimed, to our Parmesan crusted chicken. Nice. We also do an Alaskan broiled salmon, which is really good. That's been critically acclaimed as well. To our house-made rigatoni and meatballs, and we have a gluten-free option as well. So you come in, you have an entire first hour and a half is all of our cocktail service and dinner, which you're being catered on by the gangsters and the flappers, and then the second hour and a half we do the show.
That's cool.
Like I said, everything that we have put out as far as the kitchen, I'm one of the chefs there as well, with being co-owner of the business. Like, I know what goes into every dish and make every dish when we need.
So are you on stage as well? So you cook the food, then you hop on stage.
Oh, you'd be surprised. In certain nights, I'm a man of many hats. I run the floor, I cook the food, I do the bartending, I do the show on top of it, and then I'm sending people home happy at the end of the night.
How about that? It's a lot.
Yeah, this I'm sure the bar drinks too as well. Are they some fun signature drinks?
Of course,
named after some of the notorious, I'm sure.
Of course, we have a couple of our cocktails that are great. We have our Clairvaux Cosmo, which is really great. Again, everybody seems to be claiming for that one. We have a couple of new wacky ones that we have. We have our Blood Bulls Blue Cocktail, which is kind of like a blue Hawaiian. It's been hitting the spot, especially with this heat wave going on. We've got our Jumpin' Joycey, named after one of our characters that we have in the show. And trust me, you have a couple of those and you will be jumping.
And it's great, too, you're bringing it to ham in here locally, because a lot of people are probably wondering, well, geez, they want to get a little taste before they venture out to Chicago, right? So this is the perfect opportunity for that.
Exactly. Especially with, having friends and family, with us being in business for going on 3 years, they're always like, well, we don't want to go to Chicago and worry about the traffic or construction or anything like that. And we don't want to spend the exorbitant prices that you would at a Broadway in Chicago concert or a Broadway in Chicago theater. Like I said, I know we've all been to like Great Gatsby and Water for Elephants, the shows that have just been touring here, and even before you hit the door, you're spending $600-700 on tickets and parking and meals and everything like that. We wanted to alleviate all that. We want to give you the best quality entertainment at, like I said, backyard prices.
And what is the price tag then for the full dinner experience if you go up north?
Well, if you go up north, the full dinner experience is $80. And that's with, you get a 3-course meal cooked by myself or our co-chef, Eduardo. And then you get cocktails are a little bit extra, but they're definitely worth the price if you want to feel like you're in the 20s. And then you get the dinner theater show that we do. That's 90 minutes. And like I said, you get Broadway caliber entertainment right in your backyard for half the price. So
And with every
great
drink,
price.
that show gets so much better,
Yeah.
and better,
Yeah.
and better. I bet.
You'll think you're one of the gangsters.
you know, exactly. And who knows, you might even get pulled up on stage in
Hey.
the process as well.
What made you pick the venue that you have picked that's up north? I've not been there, so I didn't know if it's a storefront or it's a converted garage. What made you pick that space?
Originally, we looked after we had our entertainment contract. We ended with Nitty Supper Club. That was at Harry Carey Steakhouse up on Kinsey. They ended because they changed the artistic direction of the show for them. So Mark and I, we searched for a good, place where that had great bones, was a place that we saw us transforming to a dinner theater and bring really the let's just call it the tradition of dinner theater up and around, because as we know, they're few and far between of them being out there. So we found this little place up on the north side on Lawrence called Gavin's Pub. It was a little dilapidated Irish bar that the owners kind of, let's just say the attention wasn't really put there as COVID hit. So we found it and we put a lot of TLC into it. Myself, Mark, and a couple of our other contractors that we had coming in there. We rebuilt the entire place. It looks 10 times better than what we inherited, and we're really happy with what we put into it and the product that we're putting out.
Unless Mark is like an Anne Margaret or Adele, let's give him a last name.
His name's Mark Verkler.
And is that a Northwest Indiana guy or
No,
Chicago?
he's actually originally from Furbury, Illinois.
Great name.
Furbury, it's farm country down there. But yeah, he went out to LA and did a couple of acting stints out there, did a couple extra work with Paramount and Universal, and then came back to the area to raise a family, and he's been doing really great ever since.
And he was a Tommy Gun person as well?
Yes, sir.
And did a few of those other cast members follow you up north, or no, it's all new faces up there?
Well, we have a few Tommy Gun members that followed us. We have Muscles, who's David Simmons. And trust me, once you see the guy, he's on our flyer there. He followed us from Tommy Guns, but the rest of them, outside of Mark, myself, and Muscles, are all brand new to the Vito's Vault and the dinner theater spectrum. We have a lot of great talented cast. Like I said, we have our girl Joycey, who does Carnival Cruise Lines. We have a girl, Pepper, who just is in the middle of her run doing a show at Six Flags Great America. She plays the sheriff up there in their Wild West show. We've got our girl, Nora Ragg, who plays Kitty, who is currently being the lead Dorothy in The Wizard of Oz. So we have a great cast up there. And as far as talent, man, we've got talent from all over the place. They'll really wow you with what we put on.
Well, everyone listening, Pat, can tell how much love and passion you have for this topic. Where did you find it originally? When you were younger? Or?
Honestly, I found theater just because I blew up my knees in football. So I figured I got to find something else to do for high school. So a couple of my teachers were like, you should try theater. Originally, I'm just like, okay, theater, that's not really my thing. But then when I figured out, theater is where the girls are, I made a mad dash for it. So, and I've been happy with my decision ever since.
No girls in football.
No, unfortunately not.
We should also put a stamp and a date on our broadcast, because it could be a rebroadcast that folks are hearing. So our interview with Pat is happening on this Tuesday. That is the 21st of July. And another aspect that I wanted to bring up was, let me think here. Well, one of the things that I thought before we revisit, we want to go back to the opportunity that is this week. So when you're hearing this, we want to make sure we timestamp it for this Thursday afternoon. But before that, let's see if our panel, and that includes our producer, can answer the first question, a fun trivia question. Do not call in because of the fact that if this is a rebroadcast, you may not get anyone to answer the phone lines. But for our panel here or our producer, what is the local connection that silent film star Rudolph Valentino has to Northwest Indiana? Does anybody know? If you know,
I might have to phone a friend.
No, producer, no either. Remember, Rudolph Valentino married his second of 3 wives at the Crown Point Courthouse.
Oh, wow.
Because at the time it was called the Marriage Mill,
right.
And when trains were going through, this is before airplanes, they had to stop over in Chicago, spend some time to refuel, water. People had a 3 or 4 hour layaway. You can hustle it down to Crown Point and get married right away without a blood test. So a number of movie stars and notables did just that. Second question here for our panel or producer. of all of the men that Al Capone killed or had killed, all of the robberies, murders, and treacherous deeds, when he was finally captured and he was taken into the law custody, it was on what charges? First, does the panel know?
Tax evasion.
That's it, taxes. So you have got to
Always
pay
get him on that.
attention.
Yeah.
That's right, Adriana. You've got to pay tax. Uncle Sam always has to get.
Don't
a
listen
share
to
of that.
don't listen to Chuck Pullen. You know.
Yeah,
Next
if they
Al
could
Capone.
get Al Capone on that, they could get anybody on. Okay, now to revisit here as we're kind of starting to wind down, a fact that a fun time for a time capsule, time machine visit to the roaring 20s, the time of gangsters, speakeasies into the 1930s, is happening right down the street here in Hammond at Beatniks. And give us the scoop, Pat.
Well, it is Vito's Vault. We're the Roaring Twenties Musical Theater. We're doing a musical review show, so you're just getting our show fresh on the Beatniks on Conky stage. And that's, again, going to be this Thursday. That's July 23rd. Doors will open at 6 p.m. with a cocktail mocktail hour leading up to the show that starts about 7:15, 7:30. All are welcome. We're even doing a best dressed contest. So if you dress to the nine in your best gangster or flapper attire, we're going to have the audience vote on who's the best dressed, and the winner will receive 2 tickets to an upcoming show at Vito's Vault.
And you're going to want to get your tickets because, Beatnik's a small, intimate theater. They're about, 80 seats?
It's about 60 seats.
60 seats, okay. And Rip and Bonnie still run the
They're
show?
Great. Oh my gosh, they have been. When I brought up the idea of bringing the show to them, they said we want to hop on it immediately.
There you go.
So will it be little cabaret table seatings or bleacher seatings? What kind of
No,
seats?
they'll have the intimate theater seating that they normally are known for.
Okay.
At Beatniks. But like I said, you want to get there early, enjoy the mocktails that we're going to be providing. You'll be able to take pictures and interact with our staff that we have there. And like I said, some of these folks, hey, you never know, might be ending up on the Tonys next year. So
I can see Rip Johnson jumping in the show at some
of
point.
course.
And a reminder that if you do show up at the door, it's going to be cash only, and it's limited to 60 people. So doing in advance is best, and that's calling what reservation line?
That would be at 219-852-0848, and you'll be speaking to Bonnie Johnson, who's the Beatniks on Conky head box office manager.
And Patrick, just on your professional career over the years, you've played so many roles and parts, so I'm curious, is there one that you have maybe tried for and now it just wasn't your time, the time wasn't right, or you just haven't had a chance to throw your hat into the ring? It could be the Cary Grant role in Arsenic Old Lace, or the scarred Boris Karloff character, or it could be the lead in Guys and Dolls. Anything that you still have on your bucket list?
There are a ton of roles that I would love to be able to play. Specifically, I would love to be able to get somewhere in the community to produce Come From Away. Which is a phenomenal musical. If you haven't checked it out or heard of it, please do so. It's the story of how all the planes got diverted to Gander, Newfoundland on the 9/11 attacks. So that is a show that, like I said, I've seen 5 or 6 times, and every time you see it, something else grips you to the point of some sort of emotion being.
I thought it was so phenomenal, and I took both of these guys at some point. I remember one of the two was not moved and didn't care for it. Which was the two?
I wouldn't say I wasn't
Luke-
moved.
Ah,
I said that-
tough critic.
I wouldn't
Kinda.
go that far.
He wasn't around during that time.
Yeah.
Did you like
exactly.
it, Tony?
Yeah, I enjoyed it. Yeah.
Did you see it, Adriana, come from away about the 9/11 plane that had to all be diverted over to like Nova Scotia for that gripping, 48 hours where they didn't know what was going on? Yeah, it's been a pretty big. I think Marriott Theater's the one that has that coming up next as their season. Either that
Sounds right.
or Drury Lane, but I'm almost sure it's Marriott. So that's one you'd like to produce. But come on, you're dodging the answer of what is a role you've been jonesing on. You almost got it one time. You still have tears in your eyes that instead it went to one of your counterparts over at Marion Guild.
Like I said, there are a ton that I would love to be able to play, like Tom Collins in Rent. I would love to be able for that opportunity. I'd love to be able to play the Beast in Beauty and the Beast. I've played Gaston in a couple productions before, and have loved being the villain. So I want to kind of be the good guy for once.
Would you ever do a role in Cats? And if so, which cat would you be?
Oh, man.
The Rockstar Tiger Cat?
I think so, yeah. Rum Tum Tiger. Actually, Purdue, they did kind of a cat-like performance, I want to say probably about 10, 15 years ago. It was called Cat Hoarders Anonymous, and Coria Kennedy Channing ended up directing that, and prior to the actual performance, she had a bunch of us guys and gals. We were dressed up as cats and we were interacting with the audience. So having that cat-like performance, it's in the repertoire. It's just, bringing it out for what could be a Cats production. And if given the opportunity, I would jump at it. It would be perfect.
Now, remind us again what high school you graduated from.
I graduated from Munster High School under the tutelage of Larry Breckner.
So they do some wonderful, incredible high school shows there as well. Our producer, Adriana, she has done the Bishop Knoll regimen of shows as well, correct? Including we fed out last week the Putnam County Spelling Bee.
Nice.
So that
Very
was a
nice.
fun one as well.
I didn't get to play the Beast in Beauty and the Beast. I was the dad, Maurice.
You
were
was one of the
Maurice.
characters.
They had to dye my hair gray, but now I could do it naturally, I guess.
That's it. That's it. Well, once again, please come back anytime you've got anything else coming up. You're so busy, I know. Do you find that you had to take a step back from a lot of our community theater
Correct.
things just for now? But this is 2.5 years, so you pretty well have planted some roots with this project.
Yes, sir.
Very good, and congratulations. And you won't have any trouble filling that Beatniks on Conky on Thursday.
I hope not. Hopefully we can fill it. I would love to see everybody there. And like I said, come enjoy a step back to the 1920s where you can be the bee's knees and the roaring 20s.
We'll add a nod to that, and I'll devote Thursday morning's column in the Tribune to this as well. That'll be an extra added push for you, all right?
Awesome. I appreciate that. Thank
Very
you.
good. And a thank you to our co-host, Tony
Thank
Panek,
you.
and also to Luke Miller. Adriana Alvarez, thank you very much for our producing. And to you, all of our listeners and our viewers, for being a part of this edition of Notoriety. We thank you for being here. And as always, we wish you well wherever your path might take you, be it morning, afternoon, or evening.